Hi, everybody. It's me, Liam. I'm the game master for the finale for Open the Gates, a little mini series we are doing for Roll for Wishes. I am joined here by an assortment of special guests, most of which consist of our regular crew and one extra. I'm going to go ahead and throw it to Bob. Why don't you introduce yourself, Bob?
Hi, Tickingtimebob Gaming. I put on the channel here. We play Pendragon all the time here, and just wanted to do a special shout out to David, who has joined us from Chaosium.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Who wants to go next? We'll do Thomas. I've decided.
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I'll be playing Brother Tobias, an enormously nerdy monk. That's basically all there is to it.
Yeah, I got it. Mark, Mark, you're a new face here.
Hello, my name is Mark, aka the Cat's Meow. You may or may not have seen me from 15 minutes ago in my own stream, but today I will be playing a character I played ages ago named Aethergar, the Zut worshipper of Woden, who's here to bring the true faith. After all, my god could beat up your god.
Yeah, you might want to keep that part on the down low. Yeah.
How do you pronounce that again? Is it Ute? I forget.
It's Ute.
Two
Utes. It's either Ute or Jute.
There's two Utes.
I think out of the Ute.
They like their soft J.
I think so.
Yes.
Let's do Zach next. Zach, how you doing?
I'm doing swell because we have Dunwin here, brother Dunwin, rather. He joined the priesthood late in life and may have a darker, dastardly past. Maybe we'll get into it, maybe we won't, because that's in the past now, and we are all men of faith in God and forgiveness, mainly forgiveness, right, guys?
Right.
For sure.
Right. Yeah.
My stats say yes.
Actually, mine say no. So
Time for a conclave.
yes.
And then Bob introduced you already a little bit, David, but why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself again as well?
Yeah. Hi, I'm David Larkins. I'm the line editor for the Pendragon role-playing game, and I am playing Brother Aiden tonight, our resident Irish brick shithouse.
It's the only way to describe him.
I did forget, Liam, just in intros, we are doing Roll for Wishes tonight. As you can see in the title, this is a charity event for Make-A-Wish, and it's going through all of October, so we're nearing the end. We have so far raised $87. We would love if you could join the cause and assist us. Yeah, so that is why we're doing this event, and I will hand it over to Liam at that point.
Yeah, if there's any billionaires that are watching this and keeping it on the DL, we'd love for you to just drop a shit ton of money real fast in one go. It'd really make our day, make a lot of other people's days too. Okay, so where we last left off last session, there was a big meeting of minds in the Abbey of St. Martin's in Silchester. Representatives from Rome were sent to debate whether or not it was possible for a non-Christian to even hold the title of king in Britain, and larger Logris as well. Before the talks had an opportunity to start, most of our players here, except for Mark's Aethelgar, met up and got to know each other while at the Abbey, and started to find little leavings of twig effigies and some suspicious dirt in places where it really ought not to be. During the first dinner where everybody was present, for majority of the guests for this grand debate, there was a commotion outside by the gate. I'm going to sneeze, hang on. Nope, it's gone. There was a commotion outside by the gate, and when the party rushed out to go and see what was happening, there was a decently large convoy of knights and soldiers that were led by somebody claiming to be called the Black Shield Baron, and they were demanding that they be let in and that they open the gates. We're actually going to put you guys right back there as we begin. The two riders that have come up to the gate, one of them calls out again, says, "I'll repeat myself. We're here on behalf of the Black Shield Baron. We'd like to be let in. After all, these are Christian lands, are they not? You're not meant to turn away weary travelers, are you?"
A question to
I love
you,
questions.
Liam. Who the hell is the Black Shield Baron?
That is a great question. I actually should pull up your character sheet so I can remember what you need to be able to roll. But why don't you guys give me a folklore? I think you guys have folklore. Give me a folklore check if you are willing.
I would love to. The DC I need to hit is, or rather, I need to get below an 18, which I do.
Tobias, I'm using your character sheet as an example of what you have on there.
I got a critical.
Ooh, I
Okay.
love a critical. That's funny
Fail.
because I think you're the least likely to actually have this information, David.
I know, right? Well, I've been traveling, so I picked
Yes.
up, some rumors.
Exactly.
along the way.
Exactly. And was that a success for you as well, Zach?
It was, yeah, I needed a 15.
Okay, so success from everybody. Good, good, good.
Fail.
All of you have heard the Black Shield Baron. Bryant, you have definitely heard it a couple of times.
I failed. Does
but
that matter?
You failed at a 9? Oh, poor buddy. All right, never mind then. You're the one person who probably should have that information, and you do not have it. But that's okay. Brother Tobias and Brother Dunwin, both of you have definitely heard that name before. It's been talked about by travelers sometimes when they come through, and what it is exactly has not been discussed. All that you know is that a lot of travelers have been afraid of this figure in the past, recent years too. Most notably, from the title of Black Shield, which is usually applied to mercenary knights who have no lord and master, normally would be antithetical to someone who's a baron who has title and land. So it's kind of a nonsense name off the top of your heads. Brother Aiden, when you and Father Lowen were on your way here, you actually ran across a couple of knights with black shields. And it was a tense encounter, but it did not turn to violence. They let you pass. They came off definitely more like thugs to you, but they claimed that they served a lord called the Black Shield Baron. And Lowen, having no survival instinct, also continued to ask them and inquire about who was the Black Shield Baron. And what he was able to get from them was that a couple of years ago, a notable baron of Woodland County or Woodland Hundred was killed either due to illness or age or battle. It's unclear. But a mercenary knight basically rode in with a retinue and conquered the hundred within Silchester and immediately started paying tribute to Ulfius in hopes that he would allow them to continue to hold that territory. So that's about as much as you'll get, even for a critical, I think. But essentially, he's holding a barony illegally, but has remained unchallenged the last couple of years. So does that answer your question, Thomas?
It does. Who the hell is that?
You haven't heard of the Black Shield Baron, friend? Mighty coarse language for a priest.
You come here with an army upon, and ask for our deacon who is very busy.
Listen, you, and the other rider that's next to the guy who's been talking to you puts out a hand and rides his horse forward a little bit. And he goes, "Forgive me, friends. I don't mean to cause problems. I am the Black Shield Baron. My men call me that. You can call me Sir James, if you prefer. But we are here with an army, not for hostility, but for protection. There are Saxons in these lands, as you know. We are more than just weary travelers. We're people of Logres. When we heard that this little meeting was taking place, we figured that the people of Logres should have some representation. Or do the people of Logres remain outside the purview of God?"
I think the door that I have described earlier of political theology opens and a torrent comes out. As Brother Tobias said, the people of Logres, and indeed all of Britain, are known and loved by God. But here and now, Saxons abound, but here in peace. If you have come here to kill them, then I am afraid we cannot do that. But I can ask, what's the name of the guy who's in charge of us?
Oh,
Well,
that's a complicated. That's a complicated question, because while the Abbot Severus is definitely in charge of the Abbey, there is an argument to be made that he is far, far, far outranked by some of the bishops that are currently staying with you, and of course the Deacon of Rome, who is one of very few with ultimate authority in the church. They speak as the Pope, essentially.
But we can ask the abbot. I bid ye stay and cause no harm, because while of course all are welcome, only certain people were invited.
I had thought about that, invitations and all. I assumed as good God-fearing men and women, the nice residents of this abbey would also take into account that we have a friend with us as well, one who's weary from travel. Bishop Decius. Perhaps you know of him. I could just say it. It's okay.
I do know
for the
him.
audience. For the audience too.
Yes.
Bishop Decius of Cornium is the Bishop of London, and Bryant, of course, you know he's very important to your personal personal life.
Yep.
The poor Decius is well, he's tired from a journey. These are dangerous roads, of course. We'd love to bring him in where it's nice and safe, but, well, perhaps only myself and 5 of my men for protection. If that would make you feel more comfortable, the rest of my men can easily be sent away back home. Would that make your abbot more at ease?
I think he looks to the rest of the crew down below the walls and then shrugs. He is a monk. He is not a shot caller.
I think Dunwin actually leans onto the wall. Good Baron, are you keeping the bishop hostage? That's what it sounds like to me.
Hostage? Well, many take interesting meanings from the words of others. He does not say anything else.
Yes. I think we should speak to the abbot.
Does anybody want to stay here?
No, I think... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to add, I think Bryant is going to go speak to the abbot as well, but probably for different reasons than Tobias.
How about you, Aiden?
Yeah, I'll just stay and kind of keep an eye on these guys. I don't trust them.
Perfect. As you start to make your way towards the main abbey where a dinner was being served, supper rather, Mark, would you like to describe the Saxon that is coming out to see what the commotion is as well?
All right. You see a very old man. He seems to have a slight scar on his face, but otherwise is dressed very simply in traveler's garb. He has kind of a hood that covers his face, helping to disguise the fact that he is very much a Saxon. He is tall, as Saxons normally are, but not as tall as most Saxons tend to be. He almost looks about the size of a Kimry. Or a rather tall Kimry. He has like a large wooden staff at his side that he just seems to be using to place most of his weight on as he stumbles his way, looking around, curious as the commotion.
How scary would you say Ethelgar looks?
It's scary as an old man.
That's not too scary.
He just kind of looks like a traveler, a very old traveler. Someone who probably shouldn't be traveling anymore, but he is.
If you are here to look for the commotion, I would suggest you head back inside. There's politics.
Politics among priests. Curious indeed.
Brought from elsewhere.
Scowls.
Like, it's not obvious he's a Saxon, right? But he's definitely not of us.
I will say, yeah,
He would have an accent.
Yes, that's exactly what I would say too. I think when he speaks, it would be more obvious. I think 15 years ago, it would have been more difficult for him to speak Kimry tongue, but that is no longer the case. Still present when he speaks, though.
I might suggest that you rejoin the feast. We are heading in there as well. Everything's fine. Brother Tobias badly lies, because if the Saxons are like, people are here to attack the Saxons, then there's going to be a fight anyway.
Kind of wanders over to him a little, very much staring into his soul. Meh.
Bah.
Kind of shakes his head. In Saxon, he says, Kimry.
Let me ask you this, Mark. When the others go into the feast, do you go with them, or do you instead immediately beeline it to the wall?
He'd immediately beeline to the wall.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
He like goes to like very slowly follow after, and once they're gone, he quickly turns around.
We will come back to you and Aiden in just a moment. As the 3 of you make it into the feast room, immediately it becomes pretty apparent that the vibe has changed. The commotion's less of a secret now, or less of a thing that only a couple of people have picked up on, and more of something that everybody is very quietly ignoring until somebody of authority makes a move. However, the reason why more people have not necessarily come to make a decision about this is because the deacon from Rome, Gaius, is drunk as a skunk currently, and he's talking so loudly to some of his, like, he's having having a private conversation but louder than you really should. He's kind of doing that. He's not announcing himself to the room, but still everybody is preoccupied with what he's talking about in Latin. As you make your way into the room, you guys can see, however, Abbot Severus sitting in the corner, clutching some prayer beads and just stone-faced, like staring at Deacon Gaius. As you make your way towards him, he immediately turns and he goes, "I trust that you felt the need to look into this.
Yes, it's not good.
Saxons are starting to ask questions. I hope that not good news is better than the worst news."
A group of people led by someone called the Black Shield Baron, or as he says, Sir James, is here to offer us protection with, and he nods to Deacon Bryant, with Bishop Decius in tow, and he looks to Brother Dunwin, highly suggested they were holding him hostage. I predict if they are here, it is for violent means, but also, there is no great reason to turn them away unless we immediately assume they're here to kill the Saxons, which might be the case.
But they wish to bring knights inside. Dunwin looks tense, and he seems to be curling and unfurling his fist a little bit nervously.
Bishop Decius is my mentor. I received no notice that he would be here. If he is here, I think they are right. It's not by his own will.
Well, that is pretty bad news. I don't suppose we have much choice in the matter. If they're here to storm the Abbey and perform violence, they have the means to do so. It would be unwise of the Black Shield Baron to do such a brazen thing. His kidnapping of Baron Decius, if he has Baron Decius, it won't go ignored by Ulfius either.
He mentioned a meeting us halfway, a compromise. Him and 5 of his sworn shields would enter, while the rest of his men stayed outside. An appealing thought to me, but I am no strategist, and I know that it would still be quite bad.
One life, especially one like the good Baron Decius.
Bishop.
Baron, actually.
Really? I got it wrong in my notes. Yeah.
So it's both.
Whoa.
As far as I understand it, and Bob, you are welcome to correct me with this, but as far as I understand it, a lot of the bishops from this era have been given baronies as well, and the way that the books refer to them most of the time is with their baron title rather than their bishop title. You guys as clergy, I think, can use it interchangeably or prefer to use the bishop title, but that's how I understood it and interpreted it.
That's fully my bad.
There are barons of the cloth. I think that's kind of the idea. Yeah. Even though they probably have the wrong Demens flag on their Crusader Kings 3 title.
It's also technically not supposed to, like, legally it's not supposed to happen, but Logris has kind of an exception to it by virtue of, I mean, who's going to stop him? Really? Is it that much work? Like, it's kind of like too much work, honestly, you know?
Anarchy's weird times.
Exactly. So, with that being said, Severus goes, one life is an important one. As far as I see it, if it's a path to peace, and if it will save the good Baron's life, I think we have no choice but to open the gates.
I might agree. There may be conflict, but hopefully our leadership, and indeed the voices within here, can call for peace. He says over the, very loud Latin of the highest ranking priest.
Speaking of which, why don't you guys give me an awareness check, the 3 of you?
Good am I at that? Not terrible.
Hey, got it.
I fail.
Okay, so that's right.
Well, never mind. I failed by 1.
You failed. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, so Zach, Dunwin, sees just at the last moment the deacons, the deacon the deacon from Rome, one of his assistants, one of his aides, has overheard this and is beelining it for Gaius right now.
Dunwin's going to nod towards that man and look towards the abbot and say, "Abbot, maybe too late."
There are times when it's better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission, Brother Dunwin. Please see to it quickly.
Also, incidentally, we found some effigies of ritual being. Right, never mind.
Man, not now.
Our full report.
Let's one thing at a time here, please.
I fully knew that was going to be the reaction.
Back outside, Aiden, do you speak at all to the knights over the wall, or do you just sit there and watch them?
Yeah, I think unless I recognize any of the two that detained us on the road, I'm just kind of standing there with my arms folded in my sleeves, looking down at them judgmentally.
Yeah, you're doing the thing that you got to do. I would say you don't recognize any of them right now, but it's still pretty foggy. The fog that rolled in this morning has not yet cleared up. And in fact, I'd even say at night here, lit by the moonlight and a couple of torches, you can see like in the fog a spattering of torches in at least 15. But whether or not every man's carrying a torch is unclear. At a certain point, someone makes his way up the stairs, and it is as Mark described Aethelgar before. For Mark's benefit, would you describe Aiden for Mark?
Yeah, so you see a young lad with broad shoulders and red hair cut in the sort of Irish monk style, which is sort of leaving a forelock on the front, and freckled. And, he has this weird, he's kind of like a farm boy. He's got this weird sort of dichotomy between looking like a youth, an innocent youth, but also just huge, really built, straining at the seams of his... Yes,
as Aethelgar approaches this hunched old man, he looks over to Brother Aiden and goes, "You, boy, what's going on here?"
Just another robber baron, I'm afraid. Ran into his ilk on the road, coming here. They were none too kind to us. I feel like we just barely got away with our lives. Thank God.
Men of no honor.
Indeed.
Aiden, you can tell as he says that it is with a Saxon accent. Of course, you are able to put whatever judgments you want upon the Saxon people that you think Aiden would have. But there is an argument that could be made that Saxons themselves are one to talk.
True. So, are you a Saxon then?
Ute.
There's a difference.
To some.
Your people do not trouble ours very often, so I do not know very much about...
No, unless you find yourself in Kent. You're not as likely to run into one of mine. But it is easier to just assume we are all Saxons.
Perhaps one day I will travel there and meet more of your people and perhaps convince them to follow the way of the cross.
I would not recommend it.
Like a challenge.
I think around this time, Denwin, Tobias, and Bryant arrive.
All right, I suppose. Open the gates a little.
The brother John was the one who came and got you guys originally. Kind of looks at you and he goes, "How much is a little?"
Sir James, Black Shield Baron, our abbot bids us that we accept your request. 5 of you can enter, along with the Baron Decius, and the rest can wait outside. And they shall be given food at some point.
Splendid! I am grateful for your hospitality. You may tick that box.
I don't have it. I don't have that as a passion.
Yeah, he signals to his men, and sure enough, a figure is brought out of the fog. Not ungently. He is led out. He doesn't seem to be bound or anything, but Bryant, even from this distance and at this time of night, you can tell that is indeed Baron Decius. There was no bluff here.
He will just look over to maybe whoever he's close to, probably Dunwin, and maybe Aiden can pick this up because they're not talking. And he says, "He does not lie. That is the Baron."
Still going to keep my walking staff. Dunwin is leaning on a thick staff that he found along the wall and is keeping quite close to himself. I don't trust any of these people, but I do have faith in God. It's still too foggy.
Let's hope it does not turn into violence and he fuels the war then.
Aethelgar's going to reach into his pocket, pull out a little bag of stones and he just pours onto the ground.
That was weird. The gate, the Brother John starts to, begin the process of opening the gate when suddenly there was a loud and slightly slurred voice that calls out and he goes, "Stop! Stop what you're doing! Stop it! Right this moment!" Moving rather quickly, despite the fact that his very fanciful robes seem to make it difficult to jog, is Deacon First Gaius. He takes off his hat and folds it under his arm and waves his hand. He goes, "What is the meaning of this? Barbary! Who told you to open those gates?"
They hold one of our bishops and barons hostage, and the abbot says it was okay. He says, shamelessly throwing the abbot under the bus.
Ye, they mean to threaten men of God, and you bow to them? What is your name?
Tobias, brother of this abbey.
I will remember your name, Tobias. The rest of you, do you consent to this? Opening the gates for common thieves and murderers and pagans? There does not seem to be any recognition for the pagans that have already been let into the abbey.
I think we cut over to Aethelgar, who's currently like looking through these rune stones in the mud. He's bent over.
Out of my way. And I think this second Dunwin tries to talk, he just like shoves you. He's got weak arms in him, but it's enough to at least get you to move. And he climbs up to the wall and he goes, "Who's out there?" And Baron James, the Black Shield Baron, kind of furrows his brow and he goes, "I'm sorry, I thought we were over this. I'm the Black Shield Baron. I have a guest here, Baron Decius. And Decius. Baron Decius is Bishop of Cornium. He's not here." Black Shield Baron goes, "Yeah, he's here. 5 of my men. Can I talk to who I was talking to before? Who are you?" He goes, I am Deacon of Rome, Gaius. "Oh, what are you doing here?" There's a moment, the gears turn in Gaius, and he goes, "Leave and do not return, or God will visit upon you terrible wraths." And Black Shield Baron goes, "I'll take my chances. But I suppose we could come in another way if you'd prefer. Or getting in one way or the other. I mean that as graciously as I can, Your Majesty, Your Highness, Your
Grace.
You
Grace.
hear from, you kind of hear Brother Tobias says, "Your Grace."
Your Grace, thank you. Bring that one. I want to talk to that one. While this is going on, all of you can see Abbot Cerberus. Like, I think actually give me an awareness check specifically to Bias, Dunwin, and Aiden. Aethelgar, you can make it 2 if you want, but I don't have anything for you for it.
That's a fail.
It's all on you, Dunwin.
Dunwin got a 2. He got it.
Okay. You see that Abbot Severus has made eye contact with you while the deacon is up on the walls yelling at the Black Shield Baron. He looks at you and nods and makes his own way over to the gate to open it. He does this very calmly and not with any ounce of malice, but there is an acceptance in it, like he understands that this action will have consequences. You get one opportunity, if you'd like to take it, to say or do anything. Otherwise, he will be able to complete his task, and that is potentially okay. That's not GM voice warning you that something bad will happen. That's just me making sure it's clear.
Dunwin is going to attempt something he's not good at, which is trying to convince the Deacon of Rome to return back to the hall. He'll say something like, "Deacon Gaius, these men will be off through the fog. We'll keep the gates here and closed. We need to return. There's much to discuss. Your expertise and holiness," as he looks around for the right word, "is sorely needed."
That sounds to me like an orate check. Would you like to make me an orate check, Dunwin?
Dunwin is so amazing at that. He's got a 6, which isn't horrible.
Not impossible.
But,
That's more than 25.
I should have.
It's in fact 30%.
I rolled a 9. I should have rolled my 1 passion maybe, but I didn't get it.
The deacon turns to you for a second, and you realize that entire thing that you said, he wasn't really paying attention, and he turns to you and he goes, "What? What are you doing here?"
Deacon Gaius, we need to return. The discussions are ongoing and we are missing them.
Discussions aren't till tomorrow night, boy. Get out of my face. You don't know what you're speaking of. Leave. Shoo.
I think Dunwin does. I think he's so out of his element that he takes his walking staff and just sort of trucks down the wall towards the gate.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time, boys.
Reflexively, he just wields his authority and goes, "Go away."
The gates do indeed open, and the Black Shield Baron smiles as they part, and he goes, "I'll consider this ordeal being upheld, then. Come, just 5. The rest of you, head back to the castle. I thank you for your hospitality, Deacon of Rome Gaius. I will be an honored guest in your home, and I promise I shall not disturb the peace." And him and his 5 guys, along with Baron Decius, make their way in as the Deacon of Rome starts shouting indiscriminately in Latin and then in Italian, trying to figure out exactly what's going on here.
I understand 2/3 of these curses, and I know none of them are good.
Well, no curse words, because he's a good little Catholic. Don't look at the drinking. As the Black Shield Baron comes in, you see him actually take off some of the heavier parts of his travel gear, takes a cloak and he hands it to one of the nuns and he goes, "Thank you, my dear." And he steps forward and parts his arms and he goes, "I thank you so much. To who do I owe the pleasure of my acquaintance?" And he's speaking to you 5 specifically.
He's already given his name to one person he probably wishes he didn't give his name to. He's gonna kind of turtle up for a little bit.
I'm Deacon Bryant of Londinium.
Deacon Bryant, Londinium. It's been a long time since I've been to the city, but I trust that it's beautiful as ever now that it's no longer in Saxon hands.
It looks and smells quite the same.
Well, I'm glad that one of us remembers our manners, at least, and the rest of you.
Brother Tobias, he mumbled.
Oh, a mute. I'm so sorry. Was it a war injury?
Let me look at my stats real quick. He kind of gnashes his teeth slightly and says, "Brother Tobias," more clearly. Obviously the voice he was talking with.
Charmed to meet you, Brother Tobias. Thank you for letting me into your abbey.
He, eyes look at the deacon.
Do either of the other two you want to introduce yourselves? You don't have to.
I'm Brother Aiden. Traveled here from Dalriada.
Indeed, you're Irish. I have a few Irishmen in my retinue. None of them came with me into the abbey, but I find your people to be fascinating. Very rich mythology.
Well, I concern myself mostly with matters of the Lord these days.
Ha! Good man. Good man. And you're well built, too. You haven't thought about life as a mercenary, have you?
You and my father should have a talk sometime.
Perhaps we should. Shad? Should. Shall?
It's an archaic.
Yeah, it's Old English. It's
That's right.
But it checks out.
That's 3 down, and the other 2.
Brother Dunwin did go back
Aethelgar.
inside, I think. Sorry, you go.
Aethelgar will just look up from his runes, picking one up off the ground. So he looks between the room and this man and goes, "So you're the wolf."
How strange. Suppose you must be one of their, what's the word for it? Shaman.
Gothery.
Curious. Well, welcome to the Lord's home, I suppose. And that leaves you. And he turns to Brother Dunwin. Brother Dunwin is here, yes?
He is. He's kind
Yeah.
of in the back.
To who do I owe the pleasure?
Dunwin. Brother Dunwin. And he's more or less just leaning on the staff with both hands, playing the part of someone who actually needs it.
Curious. Well, I suppose there's no better time than for me to ask. Would you see to it that my men have comfortable lodgings, preferably away from the Saxons, but we will keep the peace regardless. You have my word as a knight and as a baron.
We are 4 times over capacity because of the already visiting dignitaries from all over Logres, but yes, we can find a place.
A long way to say yes.
Why does everyone say that when I agree to things?
As you guys start making some arrangements for that, you can see the abbot kind of shrink a little bit as Deacon Gaius makes his way directly over to him. And while you guys are performing the tasks that you need to try to make room for these extra knights and to try to make sure that they're secure, you can't pick up all of what is said. But the words that you do hear through the shouting are unforgivable and excommunication. The next morning, the good Baron makes an effort to put his men to work. They help out with nunly and monkly tasks, and none of them seem shy about performing labor, which is something that normally the knights don't like to volunteer for themselves. It's seen below their station, but his men seem to not have much problem with that. All of them, despite identifying themselves as knights under the Black Shield, they all have mercenary black shields. They do not swear to any particular lord beyond that. Bryant, at some point in the early morning, you are asked to help escort a nun to bring the Saxons some fresh water. You don't need to necessarily do anything, but just be present. This is something that they have, it's been one of the biggest logistical issues that they've had, is just making sure that they have somebody to accompany the nuns anywhere they go. While you're over there...
I don't see how that could go wrong based on everything that happened in the last game. What could possibly happen?
While you're over there, the nun kind of... You can see that she's trembling a little bit, and just when you guys are getting pretty close to the camp, there's a loud noise. Sounds like almost something slamming into something else. It's not like a truck hitting something else, but you know, a noise that sounds like violence. Not so much that it's immediately a panic situation, but it definitely startles her because she's already, she's fried. And she goes, I'm so sorry, Father. I didn't mean to.
Deacon, and it's quite fine. So we owe our courtesies, as we've been taught, but these are dangerous guests. It's good to keep your guard up. And you owe no one an apology.
It's very kind of you to say. I have to admit, I've never been good with names or faces, and yet I lived my whole life in this abbey, and it's so overwhelming. I've never been so afraid. Do you think this is going to be more than a debate?
The Lord will see to his outcome.
I suppose that's true. There's the noise again. And this time you recognize what it is. It's someone getting hit in the face. You hear the grunt with it this time. She shrinks a little bit and looks to you in a way that is clear that she would like you to go first as you move in towards the little Saxon area.
He nods, and he'll go first.
As you make your way into the little tented area, you see that standing outside one of the tents is Karl, who you will remember as the Saxon captain that tormented you while you were stationed in London. He's shirtless and got quite a few scars along his back and his chest, many of which look fresher than you'd expect. And there's another Saxon who strikes him in the face. Karl falls to his knees and spits some blood and stands back up, and the other Saxon hits him again. He does this.
There's two Saxons, right? Fighting?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's two Saxons. They're not even fighting. It's just that the other Saxon that's not Karl is basically beating Karl, and Karl is not fighting back. He just keeps standing. The other Saxon spits at him and goes, Saxon prayers are weird. The other Saxon spits at him and goes, "You'll always be a coward, Karl. You lost us London. Now you let these black shields in. You weren't even on the wall, were you, Karl? You were drunk. Again, you're a waste of space." He spits again. Finally, the other Saxon makes eye contact with you and goes, "We have guests. Clean yourself up and take care of it." And he storms off. Karl wipes some of the blood from his mouth and stands and then turns and sees that it's you. And there's a moment that you recognize on his face that is legitimate shame. He doesn't shrink. He actually stands a little taller, but you see that glimmer in his eye and immediately connect what he's feeling.
Yeah, I'm going to make a vengeful roll. See whether or not he's happy about this. Oh God, yep. So there's a 3. I had to get a 3 or under for that to work, and I did. So I guess technically I should have rolled the other one, but it just makes sense.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I think
for this case,
you can go ahead and tick vengeful, and tell me how that reflects on Bryant.
I think that same shit-eating grin that this guy had earlier when he was tormenting Bryant socially forms on Bryant's mouth as he looks him straight in the eye, just completely satisfied in soaking in this guy's shame in front of him.
The nun brings the bowl of water, or the big thing of water, and sets it down and whispers out a "Thank you, that'll be all." And he keeps staring you down until you both leave.
Brian says, "This is for drinking, not for washing your blood up."
Will be noted. You may leave.
And you should know that he had it wrong. It wasn't you who lost Londinium. It was all those that you owed allegiances to that fell to the superior army.
Superior is a word that comes with a lot of baggage. My friend, we conquered London first. We did not hold it. I don't know how I would say it in your tongue, commanding officer. He's not wrong to blame me. It was my responsibility, as it was your responsibility to lose it in the first place. You may go.
He doesn't add anything more. He looks like he wants to, but I'll leave it at that.
As the nun hurries out and you leave however fast or quickly you'd like, you see that waiting outside of the tents is Baron Decius. He's standing there. He looks exhausted, but otherwise unharmed. There is a level of presentation in him that carries through even in this, where despite the hostage taking and the travel and the fact that he does look exhausted, his clothes are ornate and nice, well kept and straightened. He smiles when he sees you leave the Bryant. I had hoped that it wouldn't be, well, I was hoping that we'd see each other again on better circumstances. I was expecting you to be my representative here, not for us to ride in tandem here.
Did they treat you well?
Well enough. Errant knights and mercenaries, rarely do I find they carry the manners that I wish they would be too. But it is not for us to judge. They have fallen into circumstances in their lives that have pushed them to that place, and for all things considered, they could have been much worse.
I'm glad that you're okay.
As am I. Would seem God's plan has not ruled me out just yet. I recognize that Saxon you were speaking to. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Large enough space to fit Noah's Ark in between your words there and mine.
Indeed. I fight my own instincts. I wish revenge, but not enough to act on it. I will keep in prayer and avoid such sins.
Jesus himself was prone to outbursts of wrath when he flipped stalls at the marketplace outside the temple. There was rage in his heart, but his rage was not for the harm that he wished to do or see inflicted. It was for the hurt that he felt. The hurt that he felt that others were being taken advantage of, or that others were being hurt. We're not perfect creatures on this world. We pursue it. As God is perfect, we try to imitate him. But there is much to appreciate in the moments we stumble as well. I think sometimes those of our faith put too much emphasis on the moments that we overcome fear, the triumphs. But there, in my experience, just as many lost battles as there are won ones. It's about knowing how to win the battle and how to take accountability for those losses. He looks over in the direction of Carl, who is currently holding, he's used a little bit of the water with a cloth to gently dab at the edges of his bleeding lip. Decius goes, I suppose that our enemy is never quite as evil or monstrous as we make them out to be. Not as pure in that. And I suppose we're never quite as good either. Pray on this. Come and find me should you wish to speak more on it. I'm proud of you, Brian.
Thank you, Baron. Do you think those errant knights, will they draw blood here? Will they fuel the war?
I think we're all very tired of war. But I also think that the Baron holds his position illegally. And should a High King be elected, it would suddenly cast doubt on whether or not he can carry the title and the lands that he has. I think that would motivate a man to a great deal of things. And yet, I have faith that God's plan for us here today is not to die trying. Be vigilant, but not suspicious.
Very well. With that, he'll take a step back and he'll just say, If you need anything while you're here, you know where to find.
Mark. The other Saxon camps are all kept, they're all in the same, squished together pretty tightly, but they've hung bits of curtain and hide to separate out the different sections so that the Wessex ones don't have to mix with the Kent ones, etc., etc. You and the head diplomat here on behalf of King Kedrick. Oh, thank you for the donation, Anonymous. You are a hero and a champion.
Thank you very much.
Asvalder is the head diplomat here for Wessex, and he's somebody that you've known for a pretty long period of time. Spent a lot of time with that knight from Salisbury. What was their name? Dallin. They come to you pretty early in the morning after the Black Shield Baron's troops arrive, and he speaks. There's something on the wind today. Do you feel it? Something old.
Yes, something is shifting, perhaps awakening.
I'd like to ask you for a favor, old friend.
Ask away.
Those cloth men that you spent time with yesterday, I'd like you to stay close to them, keep an eye on them. There's a feeling I have that something else is going on here and that they know about it. I can't place it, but I've had dreams all last night of twigs and dirt.
I see. Very well then. I will keep an eye. I'm quite curious to see how things will go. I had not
Be like
expected them to let a wolf through their gates.
And yet, these times are so full of indecision and decisiveness in places that they shouldn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Caution where it does not deserve it, and rashness where it only serves to hurt. So, we will be like the ravens and listen and watch.
Indeed. Those that carry the messages of Almighty Woden. I'm sure he has interest in this as well.
May I ask you, Mr. Mark, do you have a role to do magic?
I do. I do have
Would
a
you
magic roll.
Would you like to make me a magic roll real fast?
Would this be sense magic or to perform magic?
Sense magic.
Why does he get to cast magic because of his god?
Because
I
his
am.
god is cooler than yours.
Because
It's
my
a-
god
That's
is real.
That's not
fail.
true. Have you been to a church? It's got a whole bunch of crosses.
For a fail, what you will get is that there is definitely something here that is not used to that. There's oil and there is water in this vessel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's all you get. Go straight from there, I think. We're going to take you, Aethelgar, to the library where Brother Tobias is. I think Osvalder will go with you as well, because he's got a connection with Tobias. As the two of them step into the room, Tobias, what are you doing in your frenzy this morning?
He had gotten most of his chores done early in the morning, but the current duties, which is mostly just him going to people and going, I know what they told you to do, but you gotta copy these pages. This is a census for all of the people who have been here. We gotta record this, so when 100 years later, we know this. Now leave me to my affairs. And while he's doing that, he's saying, with spirit and bone, so that comes from the wind and the trees, watches and waits. This is gibberish.
In that burst of frustration, Aethelgar and Oswald make their way into the room. Brother Tobias, I wanted to introduce you to a friend of mine. I think you have much in common.
Brother Tobias looks to Aethelgar and then kind of like looks down at himself and goes, yeah, perhaps. In any case, it is good to see you again, Osfather. I am Brother Tobias. We met briefly yesterday. He like squints to see if he can remember a name. I'm afraid I don't have.
Aethelgar,
Delightful.
you're the priest.
Monk, but yes, one of many.
You'll forgive him.
Right.
So many of the cloth men look the same to him in terms of station and appearance.
What?
The cloth men.
I understand there is perhaps some culture shock. I understand. But indeed, of course, I've given permission for some people, while escorted, to look over the library if necessary.
Aethelgar here is one of our religious leaders. He's very practiced in the ways of magic.
Says Brother Tobias, who instantly, this is like heresy.
Yeah, I would like you to make an awareness roll, actually.
Success.
Ooh, very good. You can tell from the look on not Aethelgar, on Oswalder's face that he actively said that so blatantly as a test. He is seeing how you're going to immediately react to that, and he is going to adjust his strategy dependent on it.
I think upon noting that, Brother Tobias, like, instantly tries to put up as much of a poker face as he can, and then goes, interesting. Magic, you say?
Oh, yes. Quite impressive feats. Would you like to say more on the subject, Aethelgar?
By the power of Woden, I communicate and connect to the lands of the dead.
We get power from our gods. Can you say the same?
Yes. We have had many saints who can perform miracles, who have brought the dead back to life, who have driven out animals and beasts and demons. I have not done so.
Saints? Are there any present that we could speak to? Or perhaps we could swap notes on what the experience is like. Free form of education between us, huh?
They are quite rare, I'm afraid. There are some who live, but they are elsewhere in this time.
Pity.
Brother Tobias instantly thinks these two people are the biggest heretics he's ever met, and he's going to report this later. But for now, he's playing it cool.
Eswalder smiles to Aethelgar and he goes, you know, we both knew a British knight. They were a diplomat from Salisbury. Their name was Dallin, Blackboar Manor. Very charming woman. Sir Dallin.
Well-
Sorry, I forget sometimes the...
Yes, I have noted that of late there have been many rumors of lady knights coming from Salisbury in particular. They are a practical people, I would think.
A backwater from certain perspective. Kind people, but not at all agreeable.
Yes, there have been histories therein, but that is the purview of politics.
Indeed, politics bores me most of the time. Despite the fact that it is my profession, my calling, my destiny, far more often I prefer education, to be a teacher. Your library here, I wish we had our own to offer you, and thanks for allowing us access as much as you have.
The written word is, in many places, a rarity. People who can read is rarer even still. Most, such as indeed your own culture, make do with runes and an oral tradition, which serves in many ways to carry the words of your forefathers to where you are now. And if you are, as you say, a magic man, then you have tradition, he says, like looking at Ethelgar, then you have that tradition to fall upon.
I bear the power of Woden. It is his gift unto his followers.
That's really freaky. Have I ever heard of anything like that?
Yeah, they're called Satanists. Duh.
Yeah,
Probably
obviously.
your first thought was that he's just an insane old man.
Yeah, like,
He looks out of his fucking mind.
very
Guys,
good.
I apologize for using you as a party trick, Aethelgar, but would you like to show him something?
He leans forward, reaching into his cloak, and pulls out a small pouch. He unwraps
Perhaps
it.
not in the house of God. Like, this is like finally the breaking
What?
point.
As he pours forth a few stones that just looks at them.
He knows of divination rituals.
A one who has suffered loss in his life. Someone important. Family.
No, not really, I'm afraid. Perhaps so. I was given to the clergy at a very young age. My family is indeed this place.
Let's see. Maybe it is what is to come. Takes the
Don't like
stones,
the sound
puts
of
them
that.
back into the bag.
I suppose recently there has been loss, but I'm sure it's fine. That completely.
The runes have spoken.
He
Would you like to-
looks to Asfather and like quirks an eyebrow.
Would you like to give me another magic sense check, Mr. Mark?
Sure. I mean, I was just gonna have him bullshit, but all right.
Yeah.
No, I know, and that actually it worked out okay, but I
Alright.
do want to. What you got?
Success.
Success. While you are bullshitting, There is a flash of something that creeps in. It tastes like dirt in your mouth, and it snaps like twigs.
Yes. And he just kind of like wanders off. He's in his own world right now.
Brother Tobias is completely at ease. Like, he was like, these are like full magic people, and then he like does a bit of cold reading, drops some stones. He's fine. He's at ease, but goes, perhaps not the. I'll make sure that he looks at the books that he can, and otherwise doesn't get lost.
Of course. I think we'll shift away from that for a moment, and we will go to Brother Aiden. Brother Aiden, I think you find yourself walking the grounds alongside Brother Dunwin when you happen to spot Sir Cullen from the other night. He was the Cornish knight that had a particular issue with your heritage. You see him at one of the altars inside the Abbey, just kind of through the doorway. He is knelt in silent prayer, and he seems to be crying. It's subtle, but you can tell. You don't have to jump on that, by the way.
No, I'm trying to think, like, yeah, I'll come up short, though, and kind of observe that. Just maybe wait politely until he's done praying. I don't want to interrupt him. That's the main thing.
Brother Dunwin, are you going to get in on this business as well? Is curiosity compelling you?
Dunwin has been quite distant to any knights who have been here, because you said this was Sir Cullen, right?
Correct. Sir Cullen of Cornwall Kingdom.
He's been wandering around always with either a walking staff, or especially if he has to cut wood. He likes to cut wood with an axe, because you have to cut wood everywhere here, apparently. But for now, he has a walking staff, and he's not going to approach. He'll stay nearby and kind of give Brother Aiden a look, but he's very wary around knights, so he's going to stay a bit back and listen.
As Colin finishes up his prayer, he kind of stands and turns to face you, Aiden, and there's a moment where you register that he didn't recognize you right away. And he blinks, and immediately you can see embarrassment flood him. It looks like he's about to try to flee the situation, and then he stops, and he goes, "Would you help me with something?"
Of course. How can I help?
I've never been one for words. Try to pray regularly, but I find the words don't seem to go anywhere. Do you understand?
I do.
When Uther invaded, I lost my brother. He was killed in one of the sieges. When Cornwall Kingdom invaded, my son tried to be brave when he would have been ransomed. Him and my wife. The capture was botched. I now have to serve a man who I hold responsible for their deaths. I sometimes wonder what kind of God would let that happen to me.
So I'll put a hand on his shoulder, give him a reassuring pat, There, my son. God does not hate you. At best, he's indifferent to you. Worldly of 16. Your fate is your own. Search your own heart. See what it tells you.
If my fate is my own, why does the church enforce the rules? If God is indifferent, why are there so many?
Well, depends on which church you go to, I suppose, but as for myself, I try to make my own path through life, and I think that is ultimately why we are here. God gave us all free will, after all.
Apologize for any chafing that may have been presented.
Not at all.
Can I ask you something else?
Of course.
You talk about free will. Do you think a Saxon could take the throne? Under any circumstances? Do you think they'll vote for him?
I know I personally would not want to see a Saxon on the throne, and frankly, I don't think anyone will go that way, at least not willingly.
There have been whispers. I suspect that they are considering it. If that happens, what if it happens?
If it happens, then I suppose we must decide for ourselves whether that is God's will or there is darker forces at work.
Speak of things that most would be more afraid to speak of. I like that. I do. I like that. My heart sings for it, actually. I have perhaps said too much in a different direction than last night. Perhaps I'm destined to overspeak regardless of whether or not I have wine in me, or that beer. your monks are so fond of. I thank you. Would you teach me a prayer, something that I could say for my family?
Of course.
Thank you. And you don't have to actually come up with one right now, but
I'll roll my religion skill.
let me crack open my little pocket Bible
Yeah,
that
hold
I
on.
keep
Let me
on
get
me
to
at
my
all
book of
times.
Irish prayer here. Oh, ha! I fumbled it.
I think I know how that could manifest. I think what it is that in that moment you decide that all of the things that come to your mind in that moment as things you could teach him just aren't exactly applicable, and they feel like they would be too complicated or too wordy. So I think you make something up on the spot that is not an established prayer,
Yeah.
but you think would bring him comfort.
Yes. Yes.
Zach, you watch Aiden and the knight kind of laugh a little bit by the altar, and you hear someone just over your shoulder laugh as well.
Dunwin does a quick swivel as he leans on his staff.
It is the Black Shield Baron. He is leaning up against the same part of the wall that you are, and he's not wearing any armor, so he was able to move very quietly into the room. How charming.
Good Baron, I hope you're enjoying the Lord's hard work.
I wouldn't put it past me or any of my men to aid in that hard work. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a whole world to raise a child of God, right?
It can be said, yes. But
My men, if you don't mind me saying, have been asking around and discussing some of the staff here, learning things. I've heard some interesting things about you, mysteries. None answered, I promise you, but you and Brother Aidan from Ireland there, both of you fascinate me.
we are simple brothers of the cloth, especially now, here at this abbey.
Simple brothers of the cloth. What can change the nature of a man, do you think? I know I came from, well, very different beginnings. I would consider myself a new person, very much a new person. Like the old me is dead and rotting in a grave somewhere. Do you think that change is really possible in people?
Dunwin looks to his staff and down it to his hands, and then back to the Baron. I believe that the only thing that can change the nature of a man is regret.
When I was a knight errant, years ago now, back when we had a king, I knew what it was like to go hungry. I witnessed what station justified in knights, the things that it excused them from, allowed them to do. And all of that, the people that suffered the most were those who worked the hardest. No, they didn't put their lives on the line to defend Britain, to defend Britain, but it still seemed that every day and every night they put in their work for the grace of God and for their Lord, wound up with the least of all. I've always empathized with that. I don't think most knights know what it means to go hungry. Do you know what it means to go hungry, Brother Dunwin?
I have gone hungry before, but are you saying you had a more humble origin, my good Baron?
I'm not saying anything. I'm simply rambling with my time, making a friend, I hope. And well, I made the offer to Brother Aidan that someday, if you ever found a different calling, there would be a place under a black shield for you, if you should so desire it.
You kept a priest of God as hostage.
Hostage is your word, my friend, not mine.
Then what is your word then? As Dunwin cuts in, probably out of status. What is your word?
My word is leverage. If you need to move a boulder, there's no way to do it with your hands, is there? You need a staff, like yours, something to help unbalance the weight. You can do great things with the right leverage. Impossible things. I mean, look at me. I'm a baron. I see a world where you could be a baron too. Not my world, mind you. But there is one.
I need to roll reckless or something. Do I have reckless on this sheet?
I hit him with the stick.
Not, no, we're not going that far. Not damn reckless. I don't have a reckless on here. Priests apparently aren't reckless.
Who's stopping me from doing this?
Well,
If
I would
God
say-
wants me to stop, may he strike me dead. Brother Dunwood just...
I will say, if you'd like to, you could test temperate versus indulgent here. I think that even though they're not the same attributes, traits, I do think that they're connected to similar stuff. Alternatively, if you'd like, I think forgiving and vengeful equates closest to the deadly sin of wrath. So if that's what you're feeling in this moment, wrath works.
Yes. Well, we'll do, forgiving versus vengeful. He has a 12 vengeful. So let's see. No,
An elephant never forgets, but this time he does.
it's clear that Brother Dunwin was going to say some other words. He kind of leans on his staff closer, almost to make it a whisper so that others couldn't overhear. But his mouth opens and nothing comes out. Instead, he leans back as he was and just says, "The actions of lords and barons and deacons and bishops are much above my station."
Indeed. But we're in a time of anarchy, my friend. When things are in place, when a king sits on a throne, when the rules are touted and defended, few things are possible. But right now, the rules are only what we make of them, station included. I look forward to seeing the debate tomorrow. Good day. And he will stroll off. And with that, I think let's put ourselves on a quick little 2-minute break, and then we'll wrap up with our final set of 2 scenes for the evening.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that sounds really safe and wonderful.
Nothing, yeah.
It seems like
Yeah.
two of the priests were really close to getting in a fist fight.
It's fine. Brother Dunwin didn't have a clip in his silenced pistol. It's fine.
We'll see you soon.
He saw and understood the process. This made him, on the whole history, he only grew more irritated. His patience with humankind, which had started in a neutral or generally positive place, grew shorter as he came to know them better. Being able to see all the history backwards and forwards, honestly, made people look like idiots. Mean-spirited, short-sighted, needlessly cruel idiots. Later, he would develop a sense of humor about it. For now, he was merely disgusted. No wonder God had allowed him to remain on Earth. Someone had to point these animals in the right direction. He had a habit of becoming a raven, which he quickly learned were in far less danger than poor sparrows, and picking a person of the town to observe. He would sit on the roof or tree above, or in the window of their house, and review their history and that of their ancestors, as well as the circumstances of how they came to be where they are. Then he would take a look at their future, and the futures of their children, generations going forward. The future was not like the past. The events of the past were clear and solid, though knotted and jagged as tree branches. The branches extending into the future were more vague and shifting all the time, like grasses in the underwater current. When a person did something, her future and that of her family and those she was involved with would shift and reconnect, usually to a slight degree, sometimes greatly. Sometimes people were unaware of how their slightest decisions led to a great reshifting of their future. And the future of most people, and all people under a certain age, was Arthur, a king named Arthur. The threats of millions of people led to him, making that possibility shine like a blazing sun, radiating strands of influence. The path to him was not assured, but he was there, and the future he was associated with was one of prosperity, the spread of Christianity with its attendant charity and civilized influence, the unifying of the country.
Okay, and we're back from break. Just wanted to take the opportunity before we send it over to Liam here, just to mention once again, we are doing this stream as part of Roll for Wishes, which is a Make-A-Wish Foundation international event for all of October. Multiple games, multiple GMs playing. Many of us have participated in this game and other games related to it. You can find out more in the links in the chat if you're watching live, and I'll make sure to send the links for donation after in the VODs. Thanks so much, and with that, I'll pass it off to Liam.
The rest of the day passes pretty uneventfully, and so does the evening. When the day of the great debate arrives, the four of you, sans Aethelgar, find each other set on similar chore duty, basically helping make all of the beds and prepare all of the sleeping quarters, clean them up a little bit, take care of them. At one point, you all find each other outside of one particular room. Tobias, you will recognize this room as the room that the previous librarian, your mentor, died in a few months ago.
Indeed.
It does look to be a little bit more disheveled than it should be. Granted, somebody's been sleeping in here, but it's a little bit messier than the rest of the rooms that you guys have looked at today.
Brother Tobias looks at the door like it owes him money. I've been thinking, that is no surprise, but he continues, of the inscription, the paper that we found. You'll open the gates and then listen to the land, or know the land's voice as you please. The gates were open. Do we have to do anything else, or is it a warning? He opens the door to the librarian's room to do more chores.
As you step in, you find Aethelgar is sitting on the floor in the room. Aethelgar, you had a dream last night. Great big antlers and a mossy deer skull attached to the trunk of a tree was growing in this room. And you came and sat in front of it, and now you are here. There is no tree trunk in this room currently, but that was the dream.
Why are you here? Have you gotten lost?
What?
Everyone, this is Aethelgar. He is one of the Saxons, a priest of their group. You mustn't be in here. Have you been wandering in the night?
There was a tree here.
Oh, well, that explains everything.
Yes, of course.
Where did it go? Dunwin kind of smirks.
It is gone. Interesting.
I suppose, hypothetically, if a tree were to spontaneously manifest and then disappear, leaving behind dirt and twigs... No, it's silly.
What did you say?
What?
He immediately gets up and walks over. You said something. What did you say?
Brother Tobias looks terrified. I said if a tree were to spontaneously appear and then disappear, perhaps it might leave behind dirt and twigs. Completely unconnected to anything we've discussed.
Snap.
He looks to Brother Dunwin and Aiden. Help?
I need an awareness check from everybody in the room.
Success.
Nice. Okay, who got the crit there?
Oh wait, no, it is a 16.
Okay, so man, brother Dunwin's crushing it with the with the awareness rolls. Who am I missing?
You might be missing Bob. I think Aiden rolled off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't clear if I was there or not. That's why I didn't roll.
Oh no, yeah, you're all here. Yeah. Aiden, you got a success.
I failed.
Right.
I failed.
Fail. Gotcha. And Brian, that's
a fumble.
Man.
Ryan's wondering why he's even here cleaning with us.
I actually know exactly what that is going to do for you. First, we're going to hit Zach. Zach, for your critical, a set of boots. About you actually know what the sound of 3 sets of boots trying to move quietly sounds like. And there are outside of this room 3 figures that have come to essentially box you in the room. For those of you who got a regular success, you will note that suddenly things have gotten a little too quiet. And outside there is a small sound of shuffling. And for Bryant, suddenly there is a light taste in your mouth. Tastes like dirt. And for a moment, you feel a connection to something that for your faith would make you feel very uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead. First, by all means.
One thing he does have, as we've noted a number of his really bad things, he does have fiend lore at 14 or fairy lore at 14. But I can do that later. I'm just thinking if something worldly is happening.
You are welcome to make that check right now. I might not resolve it right this moment, but I think that's a good prompt. While you're rolling that, Dunwin, is there anything you want to immediately react to real fast?
So if we're inside the room, are we all in the room proper? Is there a doorway with a door?
It's relatively small too, to the point where if you guys wanted to try to leave the room, it would be you'd have to work out logistics for it.
Okay. Dunwin wants to... I think he's been a rat caught in a trap before, and he's been carrying around that staff, that walking staff with him. And what he wants to do, if he can, quick enough, is to shove it into the doorway. So the door, if they were to shut it, gets stuck on the stick.
Very good. I like that a lot.
What?
What did you get? What did you get on your roll, Bob? 18?
Yeah, I failed. So I think Bryant is just, people can kind of see his eyes a bit wide as he's like making like little spitty sounds, so to speak. Like, you know, if you caught a bit of like dust or dirt right in your mouth, but he's trying his best to like cloak it by his actual cloth. Like he's sort of like, you know, coughing a bit.
As Jason Carl says often, several things happen at once. Around the corner, just in time, as you lodge your stick into the doorway to make sure the door cannot close all the way, the Black Baron shows up with a big smile on his face. He's still not wearing any armor. The two guys behind him, however, you can see have weapons. And I think only Dunwin's going to be able to notice this with his critical on his awareness check. He smiles and he goes, I found all the people I wanted to speak to in one place, and a Saxon as well. No, I do remember you from the other night. It was, you were counting stones, Aethelgar, right?
Yeah.
Now, your presence here is going to complicate things a little, but, well, let's see where it goes.
What's the meaning of this?
I mean no impression of danger, of course. I wanted to speak with you all considering the debate is going to be today, and I wanted to get your official opinion on where you stand on a Saxon king.
He looks to the Saxon priest in the actual room and then looks back to the Black Baron.
As I said, his presence complicates things a little, but I mean, we're all going to be speaking our minds at the debate tomorrow anyways, right?
Perhaps a step outside into the crisp, clean air.
I don't think this will take long, and it's good for us to have some good leverage for the conversation.
The term leverage instantly triggers something in Dunwin, and his eyebrows raise as he takes a step forward towards the door.
Guards make them, the two soldiers that are with him make themselves more apparent. They step in a little bit closer to very clearly block the exit, but the Baron doesn't seem to acknowledge it. He goes, as I said, you're in no picture of danger here, but I need to know where people stand on the subject. Just a discussion, nothing more. I promise. You have my
you been
word.
Discussing with other priests in this abbey? So pressing them in a room with guards at your side?
Perhaps. You won't know until you leave the room.
Then let us leave the room and find out.
Some things have to come in order. There is a first thing, and then a second thing. We're still on the first thing, Brother Tobias.
Are you saying that if we don't agree to this conversation inside, then you will force us inside?
No, I'm not saying such a thing at all. I'm saying that there is no conversation outside.
You realize had you come to us alone and perhaps engaged us in a conversation normally, we would be far less combative. But now I'm wondering if your band of men are heretics, wishing to threaten priests into talking about matters that interest you.
Heretics is such an interesting word for you to apply to it. I don't deny that the optics of how you see the situation could certainly imply such a thing. As I spoke with Brother Dunwin the other night, things are strange here right now. It's so interesting to me that you would use that term specifically because I'm worried about heresy as well. Earnestly, it's my primary concern with all of this. I'm thinking about the world that we've lived in for the last few years with no king in England and Britain. Damn it. With no king in Britain, it's been a mess. There's been no consistency, no established protections. All the rules are broken. And I have to admit, crowning a Saxon as king, even if he were to convert, as his delegation have been consistently dropping hints that he'd be willing to, it would ruin the church's authority, wouldn't it? I mean, if anyone can become king so long as they have the right bloodline, And it's not really a position ordained by God, is it?
All right, we're doing this. There are two elements to regency. One is the
ready.
divine right to rule, given by
He's
God.
been so ready.
Given by God and passed on to the things. The divine right to rule, similar to the mandate of kings indicated in the writings of Boethius, indicate that by ruling and ruling well, one does a service unto God. Now, this God, the Christian God, if one were to convert from a pagan religion to another one, they would be, in essence,
Well,
Christian,
okay.
obviously. Now, moving from there, if one is Christian in a land which has no king, and the king is a divine right to rule, what does that indicate? Does that indicate that the king is a religious position or a temporal?
I have a feeling you'll answer for me.
I will, in fact. It's both. Politically and legally, there are many bloodlines which can trace their way back to Aurelius. From Aurelius to Uther, from Uther to whoever. But in this moment, a land needs a king, does it not? Now, assuming that someone is ordained, assuming that someone else is coronated, those that are ordained, specifically the collegium, can assign someone with the divine right to rule. Who can that person be? A Christian. So no, a pagan Saxon cannot be a king. A Saxon who turns into a Christian can potentially be a king. Is that likely to happen? Let's take a look politically. The church in itself, and he will continue. If you look at the Vatican.
I think Dunwin's going to just cut in for a second and say, Brother Tobias, you are good at debating.
He says, legitimately pleased.
Right now, that is not a good thing. Dunwin takes another step towards the door, even if he has to get chest to chest with the Baron.
He will. And I don't think the Baron takes a step back. I think his smile has stayed on his face this whole interaction. And he goes, "You have something to add, Brother Dunwin?"
Not after all of that, no. But I know what you're thinking. I know a killer when I see one.
All knights are killers, and I see the same in
Exactly.
your eyes, my friend.
My days of killing are long over. But I do a good job, quite well, at bludgeoning heads that are keeping men of God hostage, as is what's happening right now.
Saxon, would you follow your king if he converted to Christianity?
Don't see why that would be relevant.
Think it. Establish his character. By all means, please, to the best of your ability, answer.
It does not change his ancestry. Our gods run through our veins. They are in our blood. Whether he worships yours or ours, the mark of ours will forever be upon him.
And there we have the contradiction. Brother Tobias, you posit that a Saxon that were to truly convert would be king, could be king. And Aethelgar, you say that the pagan gods can never truly leave the Saxons, not in any way that matters. So how do both things exist at the same time? I have my own theory, if I may, Brother Tobias, and this comes from a place of poor religious and theological education. I believe that the devil does his work through lies, and I think that from what I've seen from the Wessex Saxons, from what we all know from our fathers and our fathers' fathers, is that the Saxons have a penchant to be dishonest. I don't believe a Saxon would convert. I believe they'd say they would. And I don't trust that the church and all of its authority would really care, as long as it looked right. But time passes, and a king has much power to change things here, to allow for the shores to remain Saxon. I wonder if that's its own sort of leverage. If the Saxons are wielding something that they should not have, to do the impossible, conquer lands without bloodshed. I know many of you feel threatened by my presence here, by my assurance and my leverage that you won't leave the room before I've proposed what I wish to you. But I'm here to beg you for your support. I would like to beg you that when the debate happens this evening, you will denounce any possibility of a Saxon king.
It, much like what you said, one thing must follow another. Just because a Saxon can be a king, much as anyone indeed can hold a barony, it does not mean that they will become king. That is a matter far outside the purview of the church. When one is the most applicable candidate to become king, then they will be ordained and have the divine right of rule. But this debate is separate. Whatever gods they believe exist in their blood, the devil cannot work his way through a pagan's hands. They do not believe in the devil.
Do you feel that way as well, Brother Aidan?
I think so. Fair to say.
And good Deacon Bryant?
I believe
know
that
it was
no
a lot to take
Saxon.
in.
No, it's not. It's just complicated is all. Trouble with the Saxons that are here. None of them, looks to Aethelgar, will ever bow to our god in anything but name or our ways. Yet, I think it unwise to force these priests under threat of intimidation towards one answer or the other. This is not how peaceful matters are done of the church.
Pity to hear that. All I meant to do was compel an answer, and I have it. I'm sorry to say that I can't count on support, but I'm happy to hear that at least minds are mixed in this room. I wish you a good rest of your day. Of course, I'll release you all freely. I wouldn't want any of you to, well, blood on church grounds would be a messy and entirely inappropriate matter. I'll see you all later. And he steps clear of the room. His two guards do not.
You mean to keep us here as prisoners then?
One of the guards reaches up and picks something out of his teeth. And then he goes, well, it's a bit of a... Actually, you recognize this guy. I almost forgot. This is one of the guys that you met on the road. You recognize him as a guy named Godfrey. He goes, well, it's a bit more complicated than that. See, of course, the good Baron knows nothing about this, but while we can't spill blood on the grounds, that one there, and he points to Aethelgar, he goes, that one's heard too much, hasn't he? I mean, you've all heard too much, and given that our glorious Lord can't count on your support, you don't got much use to us here. In fact, one could say an argument that leaving all 5 of you intact would be unhealthy. Have you ever been afraid, brother?
I think Tobias certainly has been afraid before, but he's never been threatened so directly, and it's quite clear, because he's not reacting with fear in the way of Aethelgar's rapid movement. This kind of slow menace goes a little bit beneath his perception, and he just seems grumpy.
One of them, not Godfrey, unhooks a mace from his belt.
Do you mean to kill all of us before we can scream?
I think you've had enough words, Brother Tobias. Thank you.
Said like an illiterate.
One of them goes to try to close the door, and it does not close all the way. They do not seem to notice as they push into the room. There's not a lot of room to fight, and there's certainly not enough room to run. As Godfrey takes a step forward, he goes to the other one. He goes, get the Saxon first. And he starts to unhook his own mace when all of you see a set of bony fingers almost phase through his face. They poke out around the top of his nose, where the bridge of his nose is, and his cheeks on 2 sides. And then you see it rip down in one solid motion that splatters everybody in the room with blood.
Hey Liam, I got great news. Brother Tobias is afraid now.
The other guy blinks for a second in pure shock as the body falls away, and there is this kind of muscular-looking figure with a great mossy deer's head, like skull for a face, but all of the musculature is made up of like bound grass and twigs and dirt that have come through to kind of simulate what a person shape would be. The other guy, his eyes go wide in horror, and he makes a sound, but it's unclear what he was even trying to say before the creature winds back its head and impales him through the neck with its antlers, right up against the wall. It pulls back and turns to all of you and goes, I hope this was helpful. The big one.
Tobias replies.
Does anybody
"Sorry."
else have any replies?
Definitely
Aethelgar just
genuflecting.
Yeah, I think Aiden's like, or not Aiden's, sorry, that's Brian's like head is back, and he's got his prayer beads or a cross or whatever, and he's just holding it, like just hoping this goes away. Like it, not very useful stance to say the least.
Yeah, Dunwin's standing. I mean, he was getting ready to swing what he could with the staff,
Mhm.
but at this point, he's holding it at ready to defend himself from a beast that came out of nowhere that just murdered 2 people in front of us.
I'd like to roll fiend lore if that's okay.
You may absolutely roll fiend lore. Anybody who wants to roll fiend lore, you can roll fiend lore.
I
Since
would
I
love
fumbled,
to. This
I won't.
seems terrifying.
Yeah, you've already made up your mind that you don't know what this is.
That is a failure. I don't need to know what it is. It just ripped a person vertically.
I failed as well.
Okay, so that fail from everybody. Aethelgar, do you want to make an attempt at this?
Sure. Folklore?
Yeah, I would say folklore could apply to this one.
What about celestial lore?
Less appropriate for this one.
Nope.
Okay. Nobody's got any clue what's going on here then. As Tobias starts yelping, it puts up its hands almost defensively in a motion that's a little bit too quick, and it goes, "Creature of bone and blood, calm yourself. I am here not as enemy, not as creature of violence and hatred. I am here to talk."
I think he lets out one last. But he does, in fact, obey the creature's command and not keep screaming. What are you?
They have known me by many names. They have called me the twig thing, the green one. They have called me the Lord of Twigs. I speak for those with no voices.
Yes. Broken twigs.
Dirt and twigs.
Brother Tobias is so out of his depth and paler than the moon.
What are we talking about?
It cocks its head to the side and it goes, "You were in danger. I helped.
Thank you.
You are welcome, thing of blood and bone."
I'm not going to give this thing my name, so I won't correct it. But Brother Tobias says, "How can something like you be here in the house of God? You wanted to talk. What of? What would
Yeah.
something like you have to talk to with someone like us?"
Your big god has less power in places than others. I am tied to the land. Your god is tied to the sky and the heart. This one, and it lifts one of its fingers to point at Aethelgar, goes, "This one carries his gods with him. I speak to offer a deal, to make a request."
Tobias is more terrified of him than he was of the 3 thugs.
I think at this point, just with a 14 in fairy lore, I think Bryant will speak up and he'll say just, "I caution you, brothers, your words, do speak them carefully. You'll be bound to them."
Never read of anything like this.
Your books are made of paper. They carry only what is known and forget much.
What do you
Yes, still
want?
terrified.
Twig thing. Twig lord. Twig. Dunwin does not have the right words at all. It just says twig. What?
I know Twig's in there. Twiggy. It turns to you and it speaks. It goes, "I have watched and listened to your people. I have heard the phrase that you speak in hope of tomorrow's day. One land, one king. This place holds many for a conversation about who shall be king of one land. The land would like to have a say.
You're the subject of the piece of paper. You are the land that speaks with the voice, the thing that watched and waited. Goodness.
There are many things that speak from that place. I am one.
You the one who broke into the reliquary? Are you the one who... Did you have anything to do with the death of the librarian in this very room?
The librarian. And you see its shoulders slump just a little. We considered him a friend. He spoke to us when others fled.
And yet he died. With dirt and twigs nearby.
It does not respond.
Well, we are in a mirror of perhaps a situation that we were originally in. You may of course speak, but our oaths are to the Lord.
Black Shield has come here with deceit and violence in his heart. We offer you to be rid of him and his interference. In exchange, you allow us to speak on behalf of one land and one...
There's not enough context, I think, that Brother Tobias nor Thomas has of anything like this ever happening before. If he speaks at this conclave in front of the Deacon of Rome, I think we're all gonna get burned to death.
I think that would be a reasonable assumption.
This sort of thing is simply not done. Creatures like you and creatures like us don't interact for very good reason. If you speak here and now, we would all of us, we could be named witches. All of Logres could be seen as an unholy land. And, well, I mean, not without reason, of course. Your assistance with these people obviously appreciated, certainly, and will definitely keep your words in mind, but you cannot speak in front of the Deacon of Rome.
Why not? This land is what it is, and there is no difference between bone and bark.
Back me up here. The Deacon is not of this land, and he will not understand. He represents a power and a polity that is different in nature, that may not know the voice of the land in a way that is helpful to you.
Does anybody else want to back him up here?
Please.
I think if there's like a way we could just be his ambassadors, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
I think it would be worth pitching if that's something that you feel like your characters would be open to. Now, as you pointed out, David, when we were building character stuff, there is no fairy lore on your sheets except for Brian. Brian gets an exception. All of you just have fiend lore, because the assumption is that if it ain't Christ, it's the devil.
Right.
Now, that does not mean that I am going to force your characters to not have this be a pretty trippy awakening into some broader mindsets. However, I will say, I want to make sure everybody's informed of that as part of their character in this moment. Does anyone want to back them up? Dead silence.
I mean, we could, of course, like... Oh, sorry, you were going to say something. I was... He's babbling to save all of their lives from what he sees as a demon.
I think Bryant will kind of just say the same. Brother Tobias has it right. If you are to speak in front of them, this land will be seen as a threat. It will do no good.
What kind of king does the land want? I've never heard of the land wanting anything before.
The land wants much and little. There was that sneeze. The land wants much and little. Requires a king that lives to the phrase, one land, one king, for all that are under it.
twig thing, Green Lord, this is a largely theological debate about if a Saxon can become a king, not to decide who will be king. Of course, we can bring your message to the discussion, but if you appear, then there shall be far less of a land.
If Saxon can become king, could not land.
Are you asking if you can be coronated?
There is a moment, and it does not say anything.
That's the most terrifying moment of Brother Tobias's life, including when he saw a person get ripped in half.
What's Dunwin's on full survival mode at this point, looking at the bodies that have been ripped to shreds, the blood splattered all over his robes. What if we relay this message of yours to those with more authority on the Abbey, this place that we're in here, and then we can get back to you. We can, one of us maybe, come back and relay what their thoughts are.
You would be our friend, like the prior librarian.
Tobias makes a noise like,
best of friends, so friendly. We would be, yes, big friends with much hugging and, well, maybe not hugging, whatever friends do, land friends. Yes, but we will have to leave and speak it over with people outside of this house.
Dunwin, as soon as the words leave your mouth, you remember what Bryant said at the start of this conversation. To be careful about what you say. You suddenly feel just a little bristle of hairs on the back of your neck. I accept your terms, Brother Dunwin.
Dunwin caught it way too late, I think. I think he was thinking in the moment of how to get out of this this slaughterhouse of a tomb that we have going on here, and he catches himself too late, and he there's no more words. He shuts his mouth and he nods, and then looks towards the others, and then towards the door.
The twig thing, the Lord of Twigs, steps aside and flattens himself against the wall in a way that you can hear the twigs snap and crush to make itself almost like a decoration, like a scarecrow hanging on the wall. So you can now leave. You will have to step over the bodies, and you are still all covered in blood.
I know this is the wrong property. There's no sanity roll.
Correct. No, but you know what? All of you can make I think all of you should make a religious versus worldly roll, or pious versus worldly roll here. And I'm going to say it's going to be a +5 to pious. Actually, no. I'm not going to add a plus to either of them. We're going to see how this informs in your brain here.
I am quite spiritual, and it does me good on a 1.
Amazingly, I failed my worldly of 16, but I also failed my pious. So.
Ooh, okay. So I think I will choose for you what the result is there. That's a fumble from Zach on something.
I failed pious with a 19 and then fumbled worldly with a 20.
Okay. I actually know exactly what I want to do to you with that. All right, let's start at the top here with Thomas. Thomas, you succeeded at which one?
Pious. I got a pious of 17.
Pious. Okay. For a pious, I would say your experience is rationalized in the way that it most aligns with your faith.
This
Which
is fully a
unfortunately,
demon?
Yes. Moving down the list, we'll do Bob next. I want to save Zach for last. Bob, which one did you, what did you get here?
I think I'm going full Dana Scully mode here because I just rolled a failure on spiritual and a success on worldly. So
okay, here's what this looks like for you. Now, you obviously succeeded on a fairy check earlier, and you have a little bit more experience with fairy stuff than most others do. I think for a worldly check, this rings to you to be something more complicated than is traditionally depicted in your faith. This is not necessarily a black and white, this is the work of the devil. At least that's what your assumption is. How that relates to you, if you think that changes your worldviews at all, you can add a plus. You can tick worldly up by 3, or you can tick pious up by 3 if you want to try to lock that feeling away. Mark, you got spiritual success on there. Makes a lot of sense. This is a spirit that is not of your pantheon, but is no less real and no less powerful. It did save your life. Other than that, I don't think you care that much about these proceedings. And finally, what did you get, Aiden, as well?
Rolled a 19 for worldly.
And is either of those a success?
Nope.
Okay, that's right. You failed on both of them. I'm going to say that to even out the balance a little bit here, I'm going to say that I'm going to push that into a worldly success, and you will have a similar... You've already shown that you have a little bit more of a nuanced understanding of how the world works. And we'll say that regardless of whether or not you recognize this as a fairy creature, it is still something that is not entirely evil. And you can get that impression. Dunwin, for your fumble on worldly, I am going to say that you do indeed recognize that this is a demon, and you just made a deal with a devil. That is something that just happened, and you didn't think it could ever happen. As you are ushered out into the hallway and you turn back, the bodies are gone, and the Lord of Twigs is gone. You are still all covered in blood.
We need to make sure that no one else is being crowded into houses to be killed. Dunwin's speaking kind of like he's in a haze. He's not come to grips with what just happened yet.
Yes, if it is as the creature said, mayhaps it has already brutally killed all of the men of the Black Baron. If it is not, then we may, coated in the blood of the men who died, may have to go seeking him out to ensure that he harms no one else. I want to go to bed. I don't think I'm gonna do that.
We need to find the abbot.
So, what time of day is it? Like, would we be quite obvious if we walked around? And,
We're
I mean,
still in morning. It's still the morning.
we're still in morning. I think Brother Tobias, for the first time in his life, kind of thinks through the consequences of appearing dressed in a certain way as he goes, if we go outside like this, people will think we murdered someone with an axe.
Where's the nearest well or source of water?
Aethelgar would take off his cloak, reverse it, and then put it on back.
It's shockingly effective. There is a well on site.
First time we've had to do that.
There is a well on site, but it is out in the open where pretty much everybody could see. I think you would either need to try to raid laundry for some more clothes, or you would have to do what Aethelgar is doing. If you want to try to hide the situation at all, which there is an argument to be made that could be bad too.
Here's the thing. Lying is a sin, but also I do have an honest of 12. There's not involving questions, and then there's going, a demon fully saved our lives, we gotta go. I think Brother Tobias will say, either we talk to the abbot, warts and all, or I'm gonna need to steal another cassock.
Perhaps we could be honest in this case.
If there's a demon about on the grounds of this abbey, I think it somewhat renders the point of this meeting moot. Before we talk about secular things, surely we must rid these grounds of foul influences.
Yes, how can we decide what truly is Christian if the land itself is apparently not Christian? Did we miss a spot?
You moved the headstones, but you didn't move the body.
Good lord. Yes, I agree. Deacon Brian, you speak true. Let's go talk. Let's go talk to the abbot.
You get quite a few looks, mostly from the nun staff. It seems like most of the other male staff of the abbotry are busy on the other end of the abbotry. Sister, what's her name? Sister Lycan especially makes her way up to you guys as you're moving, and she goes, "Good heavens, what happened to you?"
It's bad.
I can tell. Should I go and get someone?
We were attacked.
My, we should sound an alarm, or was it the Saxons or the Baron's men? What happened?
The matters are
It was
dealt
the Baron's
with.
Ben. Alarm would be good.
Can Brian try to put his hand in front of Tobias's mouth?
Yes.
It would be wise. Yes, you can.
She looks at that, but she knows how sometimes things go. Did you have thoughts, Brother Brian? Deacon Brian?
Any truth of the matter can be spoken in private to those that need to know. Any amount of rumors will only fuel violence to stay.
See. Then come with me this way. I'll have some blankets drawn up and we'll get you in some fresh clothes so you aren't wandering through the Abbey. Most of them are in there right now. You'll never make it to the Abbey without being seen.
Thank you. Sister.
There's no suspicious, but Sister Lichen, like moss, moss.
Hey,
like,
maybe
like
she's a
twigs and
werewolf.
trees.
Maybe she's a
She could be,
lycanthrope.
she could
You
be.
know, as they bring you over to. Sure enough, they've got some of the sheets that are hung out to dry. They get you to change there, and Sister Lycan actually escorts you straight to the abbot's chambers. And as he steps out, he looks at the haunted looks on all of your faces, and he goes, "Oh, Twigs thing.
I tried to tell you.
You know, Abbot.
Brother Tobias mentioned it mentioned it to me very quickly last night when we were dealing with the Baron thing. I didn't expect. What happened?
What? Wait. What do you mean? You guys, you two spoke of not this, right? And Dunman looks a little unsure as he takes a few steps back and into a wall.
I would hardly call it speaking, more of I was spoken at, but I wish I had taken more time to give it proper care. I promise, I beg that this is not an emergency, though I can tell by how shattered you all seem. What happened? And why is there a Saxon here?
He was there also. I don't know why. We were doing our chores in the old librarian's room, and he was there because he dreamt of a tree. He looks to Aethelgar as to confirm if he got that right, but continues and says, "But the Baron, the Black Baron and his men, he came and refused to let us leave. He asked us in a very, 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 very layman's way about the notions of philosophy and the divine right of kings, and whether a Saxon could be kings, and I tried to explain it to him, but it took a while. And then they wouldn't let us leave, and they tried to kill us, and then a twig demon came out of nowhere and killed them both."
Everything that you said made that situation much worse.
Yes! Imagine living through it, Abbot. It's bad here. It spoke
Okay.
to us, and it said that it was the Lord of Twigs. It said
What?
that it had a message for the big god.
Okay.
Abbot,
don't.
we were going to be killed by the Baron's men. We don't know if anyone else is currently in the same situation. Where is the Baron?
I don't know. Heavens, I don't know. Find the Deacon of Rome. Do not let him hear any of this. I will solve this. I will figure this out.
Which part don't we let him know about? Is it the Black Baron part or is it the demon thing? Because I'm thinking the
Don't-
demon thing.
Just, Tobias, read a book for a little bit.
Yes, Abbot.
And he's off.
It's one temptation. You got him.
He's got no vices. His only vice is knowledge and, being pedantic.
For a little while, nothing happens. All of you are waiting for the other boot to drop. Doesn't hit. An hour passes. 2 hours pass. 3 hours pass. And still nothing. But what you also notice is that none of you have seen any of the Baron's men or the Baron himself, which for the entirety of yesterday was not the case. You couldn't breathe without seeing one of them. So eventually, just as the sun starts to set, the abbot signals to everybody but Aethelgar, to come and join him in a side room just as they're starting to set up for the debate. As you come over to him, he's frowning. He says, "The Baron and his men are dead. I have to assume as much. There was no signs of violence, but they're gone. Completely."
Tobias does not look at Dunwin.
I think Dunwin looks to the ground and his own feet. It was the demon.
I would say that is apparent in this situation, yes. This debate is deeply important. It's obvious to me that if we do nothing, everything will explode. So I'm going to ask, the grace of God, is there anything that anyone needs to tell me that might help me have more information about how to deal with this?
Let's look at the facts. Black Baron dead. Baron's army outside.
Baron's
Problem
army's
for later.
gone.
Big problem. Different problem. That problem solved. Different problem apparent. The Twig Lord wanted its needs to be spoken before the Conclave. We said that was a bad idea. A promise was made to bring it up in essence of supporting the ideals of one land, one king. I don't know if it
was
wanted to be
made.
king or not.
Who made the promise?
It seems to be me. Was quick to try to get us out of there alive, and in doing so, agreed to, well, I'm not exactly sure, but it does seem like it wants at least its views on who should be king to be said in some manner. It doesn't have to come from the demon itself, but spoken.
The devil's work. Well, I say we all pray for guidance. I'll say this, and if we don't honor your promise, I'd say the odds of the creature showing up and causing untold havoc are high. If we do, Brother Dunwin, I suspect there is no salvation for your soul. There are some things that redemption cannot touch, and the devil is often one of them. Deals like that.
I think Dunwin's head hangs for a second. It was a long shot anyway, Abbot. You know this. When I came here, it's not meant for me, I suppose. But I can do my best to make sure that no more lives are taken today.
It's that sentiment precisely which means that your soul should not be damned. A deal made with a creature like that under duress, any
Right.
contract, just doesn't seem fair.
It doesn't, does it? There has not been much fairness this lifetime. I think perhaps that, in a way, this might all be God's plan as well. It might be wrong, it might even be blasphemy, but Brother Dunwin, your place, your path to your faith, it might not be at this abbotry. But I refuse to accept that you are not worthy of it on your own path. Speak for this Lord of Twigs as you must at the debate tonight. Tomorrow I'll make sure you have enough food and water to get you elsewhere.
Dunwin goes to speak, but he can't really. His eyes get a bit teary, but he nods and looks back towards the ground.
You're all dismissed. The meeting starts in 20 minutes. Be vigilant and pray that we are not misreading the situation.
There is something said in that phrase which pings Brother Tobias's attention. It's specifically part of the word misreading. It's reading. I would like to use those 20 minutes to look into any of the forbidden texts I have to see if there's a way to save Brother Dunwin's soul.
Ooh, you're going to skim the forbidden texts. Here's what I'm going to give you for this, Thomas. You miss the debate entirely. You get so wrapped up in desperately trying to do this that you keep just one more page, just one more book, just one more try. And before you know it, the sun is rising.
Hey, it is a choice he would have made. He is very pious, and this is a spiritual matter.
Bryant, where does Bryant go to find comfort after all of this?
He would be back in prayer, I think, again.
I think Baron Decius finds you and sits next to you and goes, "May I share this with you?"
Of course.
I wanted to talk to you about a crisis I had myself some years ago. When I was young, when my path was set, I fell in love with a beautiful young woman, a peasant. I ran away from my teacher, and I found myself, for the first time in my life, when I was with her, missing my homeland. I would have liked for you to be able to see Africa, Brian. But it's not in my or your future. No, you are tied to this land. I think someday soon you'll be faced with a moment that will ask you to walk away from that girl. You will find new resolve and commitment in that will allow you to do great things. Have faith in the process of faith. Trust that there is a plan for all of this, and trust that you have a part in playing it. Can you do that, my son?
Uncertain. He'll nod.
You. for helping to save my life. And he stands and he walks away.
He says, wait.
Yes?
It was the other way around. It was you who saved my life in Londinium.
There may be hope for you yet, Brian. He smiles and he keeps walking. Aiden, Father Lowen finds you just before the debate is supposed to start. He goes, well, this has been a dramatic time, hasn't it? Different
You
than
can say
how I
that
remember. There were far less mercenary knights and disappearances and all sorts of things back in the day.
Yes, it's not how we do it back home, is it?
You're not old enough to remember how it was back in the day, but, well, there have been its time. Our homeland's had its moments, certainly. Do you see yourself staying home, going back there? Do you feel your calling is back in the Isle?
I do. Now more than ever.
I've been feeling something these last 2 days. Perhaps it's nostalgia, but I can't help but think that there's someone here that needs me. Someone who needs a guide. Maybe I'm the one to do it.
So,
I'd like you to know that you've been my best student, and I've always looked forward to sharing things with you. You've taught me as much as I've taught you. If I do end up staying here, I wanted to make sure you parted with that confidence.
thank you, Father. That means a great deal coming from you.
The debate happens. It passes, even. None of you, save for Dunwin, really are able to pay that close attention. This thing that felt impossibly important, it just doesn't seem to matter as much. When it's over, all of you realize that you're not entirely sure what the outcome even ended up being. And I don't mean that in a supernatural brainwashy way. That's just how these things are. Dunwin, early in the morning, after you spoke your piece, the debate, out of turn, mind you, the abbot arranges for you to be able to leave. He packs you supplies and even gives you one of the stable's best horses. Probably a mule. One of the best mules.
The best mule, though.
As you start to leave, just when you're almost out of sight of the abbey, but not quite, there's a rustling in the trees.
I think almost becoming more comfortable with his fate, but I don't think he'll ever be completely. He will ride the mule or take the mule. I guess he's probably not riding it. The mule's probably carrying supplies. He will, well, actually, he doesn't want to scare the mule either. He'll leave the mule in the path and take a few steps towards the wood line, towards the trees. He has his walking staff.
Friend of cloth, brother Darnwin, you have held up your part of the bargain. I have held mine. I would like to watch your journeys
We are bound, then.
under oath.
Dunwin nods a bit grimly as his jaw sets. Will you hurt others as you watch? What do you do?
I learn, I help those who need. I only hurt those who hurt.
I think he sighs. Dunwin just sighs. That's such a broad thing. And he knows it. There's a lot of people who hurt both others and your land, our land.
It cocks its head, and for the first time, you register that as being curiosity, not just like how a person would be curious, but almost like how an animal would be. Teach me, show me which men.
I think there's a lot of caution in how Dunwin turns his head now, but he'll say, I don't know if I have the judgment to do so, but I don't have much of a choice. I can
It's-
try.
It is true. We are bound, friend. And I think, if you're all right, that is where we will bring our game Open the Gates to a close.
Ooh,
Twiggy!
sweet
Yeah.
friend indeed.
I
Indeed.
love me a good road trip buddy, buddy, like odd couple road trip movie. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Open the Gates. This has been a Roll for Wishes Pendragon game. joined here by a wonderful cast that I will be having, give themselves little outros again. But I want to thank everybody who joined us for this little mini series as well. It was a ton of fun of an opportunity for me to run. I hope you guys all had a wonderful time, both players and viewers. And I'm very much looking forward to us starting Boy King, I think, next week. Is that right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Bob.
Bob needs a writing week. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Bob. Bob, feel free to do your little outro.
Sure. Tickingtimebob Gaming here. We do a number of things on this channel. We have 2 Pendragon streams starting up in 2 weeks. We have the Boy King and the Land and the King. They're on Sunday and Tuesday nights respectively, and they will be continuations, if you've watched before, of Salisbury and Summerland. The Welsh game of Nantilliad's Legacy concluded. All of them have really, really young heirs. They might be back, to be determined, but not during Boy King. So we opted to go play something else for a while in that group. So you can check out what they're doing when we announce it formally, but we haven't announced it. It'll be in November, though. Finally, we have a very likelihood of playing Legend of the Five Rings here with John Wick in the next couple of weeks. John's said yes to those dates, but we haven't talked too much past that. It's part of the writing week I need to figure out. And just panning for anything else. Delta Green's finished. Did I miss anything, guys? Anything respectively? I think I covered it. We did a lot. We did a lot. I didn't run a lot, but we played a lot on this channel in October. We played a lot on this channel in October. That's what I can announce. Wednesday, you can join us. We're going to have the Lollygaggers on. Mark and I will be hosting them at Table Talks Live. We're going to Legends Talk Live. I'll figure out my own branding eventually. But yeah, we're gonna sit down with them and talk about their 2 new upcoming games. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun. And we're also going to talk about how to do horror games and dramatic tension. So with that, I will close and pass it maybe down to Thomas.
Hello, I've been Thomas and Brother Tobias. Brother Tobias having the worst day of his life, but it's all uphill from here, because don't you worry, things are gonna get good. But yes, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Lovely to play alongside all of you, and lovely to step into the skin of someone other than a knight in the realm of Pendragon to see how the other side lives. When I see enemies, my instinct is, we can fight them, not shit. We have a vow of pacifism and they got maces.
Literally, Aethelgar was the only one of you guys that had any combat stats as well. And
Yeah,
exactly. He's what, 80 now?
He's old.
He's got this. He's throw rocks at him.
But yes, it's been a delight. That's basically me. I exist in other projects, but they're other projects led by these lovely people.
You want to have? Let's have Mark go next.
Hello, my name is Mark, aka The Cat's Meow, and you can find me over at The Cat's Meow Show, where I run tabletop role-playing games and also do some other variety streams with my friends. You may have seen me, like, a couple hours ago, where I was running my series for Hunters Hunted, known as Papal Conspiracy, an exploration of Renaissance Italy through the eyes of the Inquisitors of the Society of Leopold. You can also find me tomorrow, where I will be streaming with a bunch of with people, friends and friends of the channel. We'll be streaming some The Great Villainous Strategy of Lily. We're voice acting our way through it, having a lot of fun.
It's a really fun stream.
And I also have Orphaned Blood, which will be later in the week on Thursday. And you can catch me on my channel with all those things. You can also view the old VODs on my YouTube channel. Series that have involved many of these people, and perhaps will continue to involve some of these people. We shall see. Other than that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. You'll see me later in the week on this channel with Bob, as he has said. That way, I think, actually. Yeah, that's me. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it.
Let's do Zach next.
Hello, I'm Zach. I got to play a wonderful and now once again cursed Brother Dunwin. He came to the abbey to find peace and perhaps atonement. And He's not found it there. He's probably been damned even more. But maybe
Hey,
there's
it's
peace on
it's
the
the
road.
friends we make along the way.
Right, yeah. Perhaps God wants him to atone in a different way and sent him off. So we'll well, actually I don't know what we'll see with those two as a pairing. It's kind of scary. But it was wonderful to play. Also wonderful to play with David. It was great to play a game with him. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, and with that being said, I think I'll toss it right back to David for your little goodbye. David, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. It was great playing with you guys. Playing Brother Aiden, who is, I think, heading back to Ireland to really think about everything that he saw in Logris and probably never come back because they're crazy
Smart,
down here.
smart.
It's bad here.
There's a lot going on. Don't worry, some little twerp's about to make things either way better or way worse.
Yes.
That's suspicious,
We'll remain-
Kibri.
But yeah, in the meantime, folks, if you're interested in all these wonderful Pendragon streams I do over here, check out Pendragon. We got a new book coming out, The Sauvage King, pretty soon, and that's a collection of adventures. And I'll also plug my actual play podcast, The Esoteric Order of Role Players. We just dropped our 100th episode today, so
Whoa.
yeah, we do a lot. I run Pendragon on the Patreon, but also we're starting RuneQuest pretty soon. We do World of Darkness games, indie games, you name it. We're esoteric. That's in our name.
Very cool.
Nice.
Alrighty, I think with that, we'll go ahead and Bob will set us up for a raid out. Thank you guys one last time for joining us for Open the Gates. Goodbye and have faith.
We are going to raid out to our friend Void Doll, and I'm just going to put us, before we do, into the BRB screen to run the Boy King intro one more time. Did hilariously type the word roid/roid rather than raid. I think that's a different kind of thing. So
Hey, you just got roid.
We're roiding out.
Yeah, right. That's all right. We're getting our Saxon Berserker on. All right, we're gonna go to BRB, and you'll see a raid soon. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.